messing with Foot, but you know who I'm messing with more? Well, a little bit. I've got a lot to say about this next one, okay? Because everybody knows that I'm a little bit passionate about ZETA Division. A little bit.
Yeah.
Small amount of passion. Now, overall, I'm going to say I'm pretty satisfied. I'm pretty satisfied with what they did out there on the field this past weekend. They had a lot of hustle, a lot of grit, and I like that, okay? Now, I will say, what I am, unless, now someone has to clear this up for me. Did I miss something? Why is Depp not playing? Did I
on a break?
He's on a break. Okay. Yep. Thank you for clearing that up. I didn't know that. I was looking for the information. Josh, this is why you're our all-star journalist. So that, all right, I'm glad to know that. And now, with knowing that, my hype levels are even higher. I'm going to be totally honest. Because what I was seeing out there from ZETA, especially, I mean, I really like Hiron in the roster. He's fantastic. I like where they're taking this a lot. And when Depp is back in the roster, his duelist last year was fucking fantastic. Laz looked in excellent form. Loved the KJ. Dude, I'm here for it. This 2024 is the year of ZETA. I swear to God, it is happening. They are going to be one of the top teams this year. Lock it the fuck in. Josh, react to that.
I think you're right.
You think
I was watching.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Now we're talking. Now,
I was watching.
Come on, right. Now we're talking.
I was watching these ZETA games. I tuned in. Right. I didn't want to co-stream the Red Bull home ground because it was too late at night. It started at like 3 a.m. And so I raided Slicky, who was doing the raid, and I sat there and I watched the beginning. Is this the first time that C9 and ZETA played against each other? I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What
so I
round
was
you
watching
want?
this game. I was watching this game.
Yep.
I can't remember what round I want, Kirk, because this was like the very first series of VODs that I
explosive
started watching.
defense.
But I started watching a couple of rounds as the games began. And then I started leaning forwards in my chair. And I started leaning further forwards. And I was like, this ZETA team is cooking. Why was right? They just had to replace Crow with a player that had hands. And it works.
Yeah.
It works.
It did?
It's absurd. I mean, Hiron is super talented. The sheriff shots that they were hitting and the eco rounds that they were winning were absolutely ludicrous. I actually think K-Dai, the sub that they had in playing Jet, was kind of nasty too. But it looks like he doesn't have the agent depth to be able to play full time.
By the way,
Curry's aim was on point.
Yeah. But yes, Josh, I'm going to be Josh, I didn't think you were going to be with me.
Let's see if I can drag it down a little bit though, because what are you talking about in terms of them being a top team? Because they already made champs last year, right, by winning LCQ. So are you saying top 4 like make champs again?
I'm saying that they're going to be one of the teams that are going to be qualifying for the international events out of APAC, and at the international events, they're going to be a team that can contest for the playoffs.
I think that's going to be tough because there's good competition in APAC. I think DRX, PaperX, and maybe Bleed. What are the other? Is there another Pacific team that I'm missing that looks like it's cooking this year?
Aren't a lot of them just still
forming?
forming?
I don't know enough personally about some of the Korean players that have been added to Gen G and T1, but I know there is
T1
excitement
is kind
around
of cooking. T1's cooking.
But again, lest we forget, I will go back to this quite often. This is the team that won LCQ, and with 2 players that have been needed to be replaced for like 2 years at this point. I mean, it is, and Hiron is a serious upgrade. He is very good.
What were your thoughts about Uran?
That's where I have
because I didn't really notice Uran being that amazing for them, but I didn't notice him being terrible either. My attention was drawn so much by other people while watching.
Honestly, I kind of ended up feeling a similar way. It was not non-detrimental, not explosive, nor high impact in the same way that you were seeing from here on or the vets on the team. But also, there were some good moments from Kaide, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, she's playing
Under Thieves Kaide
That's so
on
impressive.
ZETA. But when Depp is back in, I mean, I think if Depp was in for this, they're in the finals against Fnatic. I truly believe that that's the case. Dep was so fantastic last year. But yeah, that's going to be final placement for me. I think they're going to be a team that is. I mean, also in the APAC, you're talking about the other teams. Like, I think that this roster is going to be in very close contention with DRX and PaperX in the top 3. Bleed, Genji, T1. Again, I don't know enough about Genji and T1, but pure speculative take that they will be just on the outside of that, on the fringes. Same with Bleed. And then for qualifying for international events, maybe the first one will be tough just because there's only 2 teams, and I could see any of the 3 DRX, Zeta, PaperX being the two of those that make it, if you know what I mean. That was weird phrasing.
Yeah. That's the only problem, is that it's so limited. Top 2, then top 3. Like, you still have to be top 3 to be able to make
top
it
3
to,
though, I think they've got that.
Shanghai too.
I think they can. I think they've got.
I think it's possible. You know what gives me a lot of hope though, as well, now that my memory's being jogged of Zeta, is that their IGLing has improved a lot as well. And I don't know whether that's because Carlau is the coaching and has just given them some tips on how to operate, but they were doing 1-3-1 defaults that were so much better than anything that I've seen from Zeta in a long time.
They sorely needed that.
The way that Laz was moving them around the map was delightful. And I'm not sure whether that is because of Carlisle or whether it's because these players that he's now got, Laz, are more like proactive, able to do their own thing, able to come and feed him info and work on their own. You know, it could just be the difference in player personnel is allowing them to play differently. But when they were playing, I can't remember who's it against, but they were playing Ascent versus somebody. And I was like, damn, these guys are like,
it was Cloud9.
They're cooking. Yeah, against Cloud9.
They were fantastic in that
game. It looked so good.
Yeah, hype levels unprecedented. Are you on board, Bren?
APAC is such a mixed bag with teams where we don't even know where they're going to place. I think that's hard to say that they're going to be qualifying for events. Have you seen spice bags on TikTok?
What? No.
What?
Mixed bags, spice bags. It's like this. I don't know.
Left turn.
One of my favorite things is seeing
about.
Americans react to Chinese cuisine in Ireland and the UK. And seeing their reactions to it, because it is so far removed from actual Chinese cuisine at this point, because they needed to cater it to the fucking people of Ireland and the UK, and spices are just non-existent, you know, just like they don't get used.
What's your point?
There wasn't really a point to this. It's just that
you took the words right out of my mouth, Josh.
I thought this was all leading up to, if they make it to Shanghai, they're going to have a better tolerance for the cuisine,
APAC,
so they're going to be able to outperform.
The APAC region is a bit like a spice bag. You just never know when you're going to get a good one, because I've seen some good ones, and I've seen some absolutely appalling ones online. So I'm just like,
if Gen Z version of life is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah,
life is like a TikTok
life is like
bag.
a spice bag from a random takeaway on the corner in Ireland. You just don't know what you're going to get, and the same applies to the APAC teams. I just don't know how a lot of the teams are going to shake up, and I don't know which ones are going to be the strongest. I could not have made any sort of semblance of predictions towards what happened in the middle of the pack of APAC of this year, where we had teams like RQ making a bit of a resurgence, and Team Secret really being up there on top of it when I had given up on a lot of these teams just inherently, and Zeta Division as well I had given up on, and the fact that they qualify for LCQ. So I just don't know. I need to see more. I need more information to make my calculations. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think
okay
also
that
Bleed
you
is
don't
such
know.
an unknown.
Wait, what were you saying, Josh?
I was saying Bleed should be a contender for those kind of spots, and yet they're such an unknown because they've had to sub 2 different people in, and we haven't seen them in the offseason. We don't know what they're going to perform like, and those are really highly performing players that they've had to take out. So it's, they could be nuts. They could be absolutely amazing, as they were last year, and maybe it's even an improvement for them, the roster moves they've made, or maybe they lose some of that magic and they just end up being a middle of the pack team that doesn't make it to any of the international tournaments. It's hard to tell, but I think that makes APAC very exciting next year.
I think it's honestly just going to be similar to this year. Like, so many of these teams honestly seem so evenly matched and up in the air. I really hope it is like how Pacific started this season, with just like every team is beating everyone, and it's just who the hell knows what's happening, except for DRX. DRX wins, and PaperX wins.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of like, who knows? I don't know. I do. I know. Zeta.
What do you know?
Top 3.
Top 3.
They're making it to the international lands. They're contending for playoffs.
Wait for the next prediction post to come up.
Just
This is the evidence.
Mark, remember this when you see a Reddit post.
Yep.
November 7th, 2024. Remember this moment. Okay?
Okay.
This is the moment.
Let's talk about Cloud9's expectations now.
Yeah.
They've got to be a lot.